Holster. Paul Chapman.
Here.
Becky Smith. Here. Charlie Westbury.
Here.
Rita Marable. Robert Ray. Tommy Stallmaker. John Harley.
Here.
George Sabi. Randy Toms. Clifford Holmes. Preston Hawkins.
Yeah.
Stephen Tingen. Jim Roberts.
Yeah.
Francis Adams.
Yeah.
Frank Duke.
Here.
Robert Ricker. Herb Dennis. Chuck O'Neill. Lonnie Miley. Matt Rogers. Mike Silverback.
Here.
Eric Wilson.
Here.
Richard Avor.
Here.
Alan Lawrence.
Here.
Ed Norris.
Here.
Alan Walker.
Here.
Barbara Williams.
Here.
Alfreda Walker.
Here.
James Richardson.
Here.
James Curry. Tall. Henry Brady.
Here.
Lee Slade.
Here.
Tim Young.
Here.
James Colson.
Here.
Billy Wester.
Here.
Walter Robert. Terry Schwimmer. Here. Ken Fowler.
Here.
Charles Williams. Shannon Hart. Here. Catherine Epps. Here. Judy Smith. Mark Dupree.
Here.
Charles Black.
Here.
Marty Dominy.
Here.
C.L. Brooks. Jonathan Jackson. Bill Bentley. Charles Sims. Stephen Nathan.
Of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Heavenly Father, we give you thanks and praise for another day. And Lord, we just want to give you thanks for the rain that we've had lately. It's been so good for the crops. Father, we thank you for each and every one who's come here tonight. Lord, we pray that you would help us to do the work for those whom we serve. Father, we just ask your hands upon this blessing, upon this meeting. Food, we ask in Christ Jesus' name.
I'd like to introduce my guest speaker. Yes, she's representing normally DCA field rep, Ms. Tanya Moe. Transportation field rep, Michelle Fan. Son of Johnny Axe's field rep, Andrew Ross. And my favorite representative of the state of Georgia, Ms. Buffalo. Yes, table. Somebody have guess word. Yes, ma'am.
We're on the side that was about you should have said last year. Fine, see your copies, but we're finished. He said we did that.
Well, I'm ready. Yeah, yes.
I'd like to introduce Jimmy Nolan. Jimmy works with the Department and Institute of Government in the Information Technology Outreach Services Division. Jimmy has been kind enough to come down and participate in a work session with us today and tomorrow to help us with some tax assessment online application development. So I'd just like to introduce and recognize Jimmy.
Anyone else? Yes, sir. Anybody else? I'd like to call Laura to give you staff number.
Yes, sir. In your memo, in your packet, you should have a memo that introduces 3 new staff members. We're going to give you a little bit of background about them Michelle Grabowski. And Michelle is our new Director of Technology Services. You'll recall Nick Colengis left us back in April or so to move to Louisville, closer to his wife's family. And so we're happy to have Michelle on the team. Marcellus Williams joined us recently. He actually comes at it from a little bit different background, in that he has a law degree from the University of Georgia. So don't hold against him the fact that he has a law degree, because he didn't go to the University of Georgia. So that should balance it out. He's in our Public Administration Department, and Kaylee Sullivan, who also joined us in Public Administration, and you'll actually be hearing from her later this evening on a level. Just wanted to give y'all a chance to put a face in the name.
Like how I'm putting.
Thank you, Chairman. It's my honor today to introduce our featured guest today. We are fortunate to have with us Commissioner Lynne from the Georgia Department of Revenue. Lynne was appointed to the DOR as Commissioner by Governor Hill back in January 2015. Prior to that appointment, she was a member of the General Assembly for 4 years in the House of Representatives, representing the Johns Creek area. She served on many influential committees, some of which include Ways and Means, Natural Resources and Environment, amongst others. Prior to that, Commissioner was Fulton County Commissioner, District 3 from 2004 to December of 2010, and served on many boards and committees at that time, one of which was chairing the Building Authority. He was appointed by Governor Perdue also to serve on the Georgia Public Defender Supervisory Council of the Atlanta Judicial District. And I should say, during her time with the General Assembly, maybe prior, the Commissioner was instrumental member of a team to help establish Georgia's 3 newest cities, Sandy Springs, Johns Creek, and Milton. And I believe you're a resident of Johns Creek as well. As a graduate of the Atlanta Regional Commission's Regional Leadership Institute, and as an alumnus of the Coverdell Leadership Institute. Also has a lot of experience in economic development, currently serves on boards and local initiatives, and currently serves on the board of the Great Promise Partnership of Georgia. I believe our twin Mike Beatty is very instrumental in that. Lynne comes from the private sector, having 30 years of experience as a principal in an accounting firm. She's married to Mike Riley, an equipment innovation manager at the Coca-Cola Company, and they have 3 adult children and are proud grandparents of a granddaughter. The family has lived in Johns Creek for about close to 30 years. So with that introduction, I welcome Commissioner Riley.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
And thank you, everyone, for letting me come and visit with you here in Middle Georgia this evening. I mentioned with you that at any time I get the opportunity to escape Metro Atlanta, it's a good day for me. We had a great ride down this afternoon, and it's a breath of fresh air to get in a place where the pace is a little bit slower, the traffic is definitely less, and the people are just as wonderful as the dinner was tonight. So thank you for letting me be here. I'm going to do a fairly rapid overview of the Department of Revenue and hopefully leave a little bit of time for questions. But my primary message here to you all is that we want to partner with you in the service that you provide to your constituents here in your districts. We want to be a partner in making sure that the laws of the state of Georgia in regard to taxation are followed, and that we maximize the revenue collections on behalf of local governments as we do this partnership. And in that, I'd like to introduce to you the 2 members of the Department of Revenue that I brought with me this evening. First, from downtown Metro Atlanta, Dan Regenstein is our Director of External Affairs and will be a liaison to you if there's assistance that you need. from us at what I call fondly the mothership, our main headquarters back in Metro Atlanta. And also with us today is Margie Biddick. She is the supervisory manager of our regional office here in Macon. She is the boots on the ground that will assist you in the things that you might need from the Department of Revenue as far as helping taxpayers comply. Y'all said there? That was a good sound. I'll see if I can make this. As I said, we have locations, and this is our mothership, our headquarters in North Atlanta. Macon is our office for this area, but we also have experts across the state to help people comply with this across the state. Our primary responsibilities, as you might imagine, are to help people pay their taxes. We have over 4.5 million individual taxpayers, whether it's businesses that are collecting and remitting sales tax, or individuals or businesses that are remitting income tax. We issue over 20,000 licenses to alcohol vendors in the state of Georgia, and we provide annual registrations for over 9 million motor vehicles in the state of Georgia each year. The budget that was just passed by Representative Epps and his colleagues that started on July 1st is going to spend about almost $44 billion in the fiscal year. A little over half of that are state funds. Most of those state funds are what the Department of Revenue collects. There's also lottery funds that pay for the scholarship that we pay, and that is something that the department does not do. This slide is kind of easy, but the bottom line is what I really wanted to have you focus in on. In FY12, as the state was coming out of the recession, the total collections by the Department of Revenue was about $16 billion. In the year that just ended June 30, over almost $21 billion in state revenue collections. That's a testament to the stewardship of the leadership of the state of Georgia in partnership with you folks that have made the state of Georgia as prosperous as it is. I just get to bring it in and let you know how much we collected. But I'm very proud to be able to show this kind of recovery trend and how wonderfully we're doing in the state of Georgia. As you can see, almost half of the revenue collections are income tax, and a little over a third, this is the state portion of sales tax. The local portion, of course, is what you folks are. Our taxpayer services division is generally the first point of contact for folks with the department. They are the ones that will actually process tax returns as they come into us, and they will interact with taxpayers when questions are asked. Some processing statistics. As you can see on that top line, we're running about 7 to 7 million returns that we process every year. That's income tax and sales tax combined, as well as some other type returns. But if you look at a little deeper into this slide, you'll see that it's about 3 times the cost to process paper returns. So we are trying to drive everybody to an electronic communication with the department because it saves taxpayers money when we don't have to spend as much to process a tax return. Our audit and compliance division are the folks that will look a little deeper when there's problems with someone's compliance with the laws of the state. And they will interact with taxpayers on these different types of taxes to make sure that they're paying the appropriate. This is a sign that I found in the archives, the way that the department used to communicate with taxpayers back in the 1960s. And it's a little bit different from the way we do things today, but this is how the department would reach out to folks back in the day and try to encourage them to pay their taxes. We do things a little differently. Now we use the Georgia Tax Center. This is our website where we accept electronic transmissions to the department, and we encourage people to register and communicate with us that way. At this portal, any individual who files a tax return with the state of Georgia, we would like them to register on the Georgia Tax Center. Then they can be notified if someone files a tax return on your Social Security number, you'll be notified. And if someone tries to do it and it wasn't you, you'll be notified. Then you can immediately alert the department, and we can make sure that your money doesn't go to somebody that isn't you. So we're pushing very hard this year in an era where so many people have heard so much about fraud, and fraudulent filing that has caused us challenges in our processing efforts. We're asking folks to help themselves, protect themselves by registering at the Georgia Tax Center. We also have an app for that, and we encourage people to go ahead and download the mobile app. They can interact with the department to check the refund status as well as get other information that they can do business with the department. Our legal affairs and tax policy folks are the ones that work to help develop regulations after laws have been written to implement new tax programs in the state of Georgia. They also will hold conferences with taxpayers if there's not a meeting of the minds on what tax code. And they will also prepare cases that when we have litigation filed against us and we have to defend the department's position either in the Georgia Tax Tribunal or in local courts. I put this next slide in to let you know that we do have fun every once in a while at the Department of Revenue. We do work hard on behalf of the taxpayers, but we do try to raise funds for charitable causes in the state, and we find some different creative ways to do that. So every once in a while we let a little stress off by having some. Our alcohol and tobacco division monitors the laws of the state for alcoholic beverages, tobacco products, but they also do a lot of oversight for motor fuel tax, motor carriers, and assist in other investigations where necessary. We have alcohol and tobacco agents stationed all across the state at our different offices, and they are responsible to make sure that there's not problems with underage consumption, either of alcohol or tobacco products. I put this statistic up to just show some of the different things that our alcohol and tobacco teams are working on. My favorite one is right there in the middle, that even in this day of age, we are still busting stills in the state of Georgia. And I have proof. This is a picture that someone shared with me of a seizure of a still back in the 60s down in coastal Georgia. And quite an operation they had to go out in the backwoods at that time. But this is a picture of the still that I helped seize back in April up in Lumpkin County, North Georgia. So it's still happening today, folks. And it's still against the law. So we would very much appreciate it if you know of any of these operations that might be going on out there, just let us know. We'd like to make sure that every drop of alcohol that is created in the state of Georgia is properly accounted for, licensed by someone, and moonshine's not being sold that might do damage to someone who might be considering having a drink. Our local government services division may be the folks that you might deal with most often. They're the ones that oversee county tax departments. We also do public utility assessment administration, and they also do local sales tax administration. They help assist monitoring and training local governments to make sure that they administer the tax policies and laws that are required of them to serve on behalf of their constituents. The local government services also do unclaimed property maintenance, and we highly encourage and would love it if you would also share this information with your constituents. We are fiduciaries of unclaimed property, but we don't want to. We would love very much to be able to put that money back in the hands of the rightful owner. So we'd love it if you would like to help us market this service and get people to go to our website and search their names. They might find that some long-lost relative has left them some money, and they might benefit from it. So please feel free to pass this on. Our motor vehicle division, as I spoke earlier, they manage the titling and registration of over 9 million vehicles each year. And we do have the benefit of not having to drive in Metro Atlanta traffic every day, but there are many days that it feels like all 9 million of them are in front of us when we're trying to get someplace. But we can attest that it's a very lively and busy function of the department. We also are required to make sure that all vehicles that are registered in Georgia have the appropriate insurance coverage, and so we administer that as well. Our Office of Special Investigations is a group of sworn police officers that not only perform internal affairs functions and provide security in our facilities, but they will assist and do their own investigations in cases of tax fraud or odometer tampering, and assist in the prosecution should there be arrests made for folks that are taking criminal action in that area. This is my favorite agent. I was not able to bring Sid with us tonight. Sid is our special agent that is employed at the Atlantic Airport. Sid assists the Homeland Security and the other agents that are down protecting us at the airport. And Sid has a pretty good track record, as you can see there, of money that's being trafficked through the airport that is unreported revenue. And in most cases, it is unreported and it becomes the property of the federal and state government. Just last year, we created some advisory groups, and some local government members are participants of some of these groups. Tax practitioners advisory groups help us look at some of the challenges in assisting taxpayers comply with Georgia law. Our local government advisory group is partners with us to work on some of those local government issues. And our industry partners to help us provide advice on how we can be friendly to the taxpayers of the state. We absolutely want to get compliance from all taxpayers, but we'd like to do it in a way that doesn't inhibit their ability to be prosperous, because their prosperity benefits us all with the revenues that we collect as a result. Some new laws that the General Assembly enacted that we have been working on since they adjourned in late March. House Bill 951 was the reinstitution of back to school and energy efficient sales tax holidays. Our understanding was we had a very successful back to school holiday last month. We anticipate similarly same for the energy sales tax holiday at the end of September. House Bill 54 allows a program, establishes a program where folks can donate and get credit for donating for education costs for children of fallen public safety workers who have been taken from us in the line of duty. And Senate Bill 258 is creating a new tax credit to support rural hospitals across the state of Georgia and allow taxpayers credit for their donations to these hospitals. House Bill 802 also increased the contribution on an income tax return to allow additional college savings for the 529 savings plan in Georgia. House Bill 960 reduced the interest rate that we charge or we pay at the state level. In the past, it had been 12% per year interest rate, and that was pretty high and very much out of line with what today's conditions, the rest of everyone else charges or collects on interest. So that was reduced dramatically by House Bill 960. And Senate Bill 369 doesn't apply. This is a more local circumstance, but this is our first foray into a partial penny sales tax. MARTA will be looking to get a half penny sales tax for additional transit funding in the state of Atlanta. And Fulton County, the portion where I live, is looking at a partial penny sales tax referendum for transportation projects within just Fulton County. New regulations that we put into effect this year, we have revised the brewery and distillery tours. If anybody got any media coverage of some of the controversy we had in that area last year, happy to say that we all were able to come to a meeting of the minds and put that disagreement behind us. And the new regulations allow the breweries and distilleries to prosper as a result. We have changed regulations in our film tax credit program, which has been so successful in the state of Georgia. We just put in some new tracking and reporting requirements so that we know can, in the future, know exactly that it's deriving for our state. Direct pay permits is a new program where large companies will now be able to, they still are able to pay sales taxes directly to us and get benefit of that, but we have changed the administration of that to again provide better accountability to make sure that any of their record keeping is accurate and would not be harmful if they are not accurate. There have been in the past when they come to the department for refunds of great size, which can be problematic for local governments. So we changed that program to take away any of that potential problem for local governments going forward. Our priority projects is going to continue to be our efforts to fight fraud. As I talked about registering with the Georgia Tax Center, we are also spreading the message that businesses are required to upload W-2 information by January 31st next year. We critically need that information from employers to be able to match against what is presented to us on the tax. Until we have information of that nature, we will not release a tax return until we are certain that the information that's on it is correct. So we want your help when you're talking to the businesses in your jurisdictions. Please remind them that by law they're required to give us copies of employee W-2 information by January 31st, and that will help us process all of yours and all of your constituents' tax returns in a more timely fashion next year. Our DRIVES project is going to be the modernization of our tag and titling function in conjunction with all of your county tag offices. And we're working through the procurement phase of that right now, but looking to have a web-based online platform that will eliminate anybody's need to have to go to the tag office or the driver's license office. It's going to be an integrated system that will allow people to interact by their cell phones, by their computers, and in that way, we'll be able to do identity verification and make sure we know who we're dealing with, but also allow folks from the comfort of their home to be able to transact business for their motor vehicles or for their drivers. That's it in a nutshell. Those are all the different moving parts we have for the Department of Revenue. I'd be happy to take any questions and maybe provide you some insights on some of the things we do to help local governments. If not, I can sit down and
Okay.
Thank you.
In the past, the states have been, what the work would be, but they have regulation or standards on what we can attach to a tax bill or what we can include in a tax bill. We, this is the Monroe County delegation. We have a small rural hospital. It would seem to me that if we wanted to let folks know about this tax credit, that might be an opportunity to include that in the tax bill. So,
actually, that would be wonderful. We hope to have the regulations released in the next week or two that will outline how the program is going to work. Have you started to produce your tax bill at this point? Are they ready to be mailed yet?
we haven't set the tentative millage, so
Okay, so you still have a little bit of time.
yeah.
Jen, are you taking notes? We'll make sure before we leave, we get some contact information from you folks, because we'd be delighted to provide that kind of information to your citizens. I'm sure they're gonna wanna take advantage of the ability to help their rural hospital by a donation and get a tax credit for it as well.
I appreciate it.
We'd be happy to do that.
I have several rural hospitals actually.
That, we'll be happy to filter it through the commission as well. I know that the desire, we have a $50 million tax credit cap for the tax year 2017. And we anticipate that'll get gobbled up fairly quickly, but the application to the department will be beginning in January of 2017. And so we'd be delighted to help partner in messaging to folks that would love to keep their rural hospitals financially stable, and this would be a great way. Yes, sir.
When individuals register for, with the Department of Revenue, they only have to do that one time.
That's
They have
correct.
to do it yearly.
You can only do it once, and then if a tax return is filed on your social security number, you'll get an alert in whatever manner you ask, whether it's an email or a text. And we also can deliver to you the 1099s that show what your refund was for last year, that needs to be included on. What we're trying to eventually do, and these are baby steps, we'd like to totally interact with our taxpayers through the Georgia Tax Center. We're putting two-factor authentication components with this website so that we will be able to verify that it's you that we're dealing with through the site. Our mission is to protect your information that you provide to us and protect the tax dollars that you provide to us. So we're going to go that extra mile to make sure that we communicate through a secure website, but also make sure that when a tax return is presented to us, it's you that we're sending the money back. Thank you. Yes, sir.
Is there future plans to interface business licensing activities
with the states. For example, we issue a business license, but you may not know about it, so you're not collecting sales tax, so you didn't know we had a business license, and vice versa, things could be going on that way.
Well, we have a program we call BOTS, which allows local governments to send us a list of all their business licenses. We run that against what we have in our systems, and then we go look for the ones that are missing on either one. And we highly encourage local governments to send us their business license data files. We've been successful. I think Commissioner Webster knows this, that we are very happy to take that information. And we find some folks out there that aren't quite sure what they're supposed to be doing. And hopefully that will help with sales tax collections within your district once we assist them. And Margie's group also helps a great deal in that way in their understanding of what their compliance expectations are. So again, please let us know. We'll be delighted to do those data matching. Yes, sir. Say it again, I'm sorry.
On Bloomberg, how much can you make and be okay?
As long as it's beer or wine, there's no limit as long as you don't sell it. There are, and actually, I can't give you a single answer because local jurisdictions have different limits. This might be something that you want to check with your local government on any kind of licensing issues they have. The state, if you're doing it at home, you can do wine, you can do beer, but you cannot do distilled spirits of any kind. And I made that mistake once in a presentation I made. Told folks, as long as I don't know about it, I don't care. If it is a distilled spirit, kind of like those folks that we found that still, that is illegal in any amount. Any other questions? Well, I'm delighted that I had a chance, like I said earlier, to be out of the city, to visit with you and see some old friends. It's always wonderful to be in this part of the state. Please make sure you take advantage of Margie and the experts she has with her at the Macon office. They're here to help, and in any way that we can at any time, call on us, because together we both help our citizens, and that's what public service is all about. Thank you very much.
Very important. I didn't realize we still had to speak. Need a motion to approve June 9th, 2016. So moved. Have a motion. And a second, all in favor, aye. We have no old business, like no spirit conference. Within our 5-year update to the EPA.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The first item that I have to discuss, since 1992, the Middle Georgia Regional Commission has received $2 million in funding from EPA for the operation of a revolving loan fund. There were local matching funds of $920,460, creating $2.9 million in total funds available for moving. As recipients of the EPA RLF grant, the Middle Georgia Regional Commission is required to submit a 5-year plan to the U.S. Department of Commerce Economic Development Administration. Once adopted by the council, the plan will be submitted to the EDA in Atlanta for the regional office. So I understand that the plan was included in your packet along with the memo. So we need a motion from the council to accept the EDA RLF 5-year plan.
Need a motion to accept the plan. So moved. Have a motion. Need a second. All in favor, aye. Aye.
Yes, sir. Each year, Middle Georgia Regional Commission Council elects members to be appointed to GSPL membership for the purpose of representing their county. GSPL has 48 members representing Baldwin, Crawford, Macon-Bibb, Houston, Jones, Jasper, Monroe, Peach, Pulaski, Putnam, Twiggs, and Wilkinson counties. GSPL is governed by board of directors. Each year, a third of the membership terms expire and must either be reappointed or replaced. The responsibility for making nominations for the membership alternates between the county and municipal representatives of the Regional Commission Council. For the terms ending 9/30/2016, the appointments are the county appointees. In April, we sent out letters to the county representatives requesting that each provide us with a nomination to either reappoint the members from their counties with expiring terms or replace these members with new appointees. Included in your council packet is a list of the names that we have received from the nominees. We are still awaiting some nominees from a few of the counties. At this time, we need a motion from council to accept the nomination for each of the individual appointees.
Make a motion.
Motion, we have a second.
Second.
Any other questions? All in favor, aye?
Aye.
It sounds like y'all in this county, so.
Mr. Chairman, the following local assistance meeting, staff time is available to assist with class. Baldwin County requests assistance with their community program, creation of a village report, and the preparation of a plan. The city of Byron requests preparation of marketing materials, facilitating a strategic plan, and creating an incentive plan for economic development. The city of Centerville requests assistance in hiring an economic development staff member. Crawford County requests assistance in creation of hazard mitigation and a phase site. The city of Irvington requests assistance in preparation of grant application. Jones County requests assistance with the creation of an incentive policy. Nathan Bid requests assistance in hiring a GIS coordinator, preparing a grant for the Storm Zone initiative and emergency. Monroe County requests assistance in creating a board of election. The city of Perry requests assistance in providing an education session on the creation of land banks. Putnam County requests assistance in preparing 2 recreation grant applications. The city of Roberta requests assistance in developing a building for the job description. Quiggs County requests assistance in completing the immediate threat mitigation. And the city of Atlington, the city of McIntyre, Putnam County, and the town of Kingsborough all request. I'd also like to take this opportunity to highlight recent accomplishments and projects that have been completed in June. Each county recently received a $1.4 million grant from the Georgia Transportation Infrastructure Bank, constructing a new extension to Russell Parkway. On August 4th, the Workforce Development Department had a graduation for the Free Career Jumpstart Program, and the IT department will deploy a new website for available to answer.
Need a motion to approve the request. Move. And a motion, second. Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. We have 2 resolutions that passed since the midnight council meeting. First is Danny Lewis, executive director of Georgia Mountain Regional. Second, Mr. Davis, workforce development director, resigned to start a small business. Already passed. Motion to approve the resolution. No motion. Second. Thank you. Motion second. All in favor? Aye. That's just impact number 2590.
Following development of regional impact reserve. DRI 2591 Love Travel Center. Center will have 24 fueling stations, 10 of which will provide diesel fuel and will be located off the starter street. The development exceeds the threshold and warranted regional. Staff provided a DRI informational package for all affected parties on July. Staff also reviewed the project and comments from affected parties and filed the DRI report and transmitted to the applicant and affected parties on August. This update was for informational purposes.
on that, and then for the financial report. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Today I'll have a copy of the fourth quarter FY16 budget actual report. Just kind of go through it real quickly. Local revenues through June 30th were at 88%. Budget revenues are a little bit behind, but most of the revenues that we have a balance remaining, those have been filled, and we're just waiting collection. Quick items, I know local revenues, DSBL, revenue of 53,515, and then received by the RC for another 25,448, and then approved for payment by the DSBL board. Again, all local contracts have been billed as of June 30th, some were in collection on as of June 30th. State revenues are at 79% budgeted through June 30th. Again, that's primarily because of invoices that have been billed out and have been collected. And the 79% is actually what we've actually collected through June 30th. All, again, the state revenues, all contracts have been billed and for wage payment on some of those specifically taking DOT contracts. The federal revenues were also at 79% of budget revenues. Money follows the person and ability manager contracts are only 83 and 55%. But once those, again, once the final invoices are received and paid, those two programs will actually be at 93 and 99% respectively. Workforce is another one that looks a little low as of June 30th, but once the invoices are all filled out and collected, we're going to be at 85%. And most of the remaining difference for workforce is actually can be carried over into FY17 since a good portion of their contracts actually cover 2 fiscal years. Expenditures through the year, end of the year, June 30th, they're at 91%. So pretty much in line with what we thought we'd be for expenditures. Just a couple notes with that. Auto gas and oil went slightly over budget. Increases in gas prices in the last quarter of FY16. Computer charges is over budget, primarily because of the payment of the Office 365 licenses in the last quarter. And other public meetings is also over budget. That's primarily due to the cost that are associated with the meetings and things we had for Ralph's retirement celebrations. Just want to point out that, these, even though this is June 30th is our year end, these are not our final numbers, obviously, especially since we're waiting. A lot of these have been billed out, not collected yet, and the report shows what we've actually collected. If anybody has any questions about anything particular, try to answer. Not again, this is just for your information, for you, and keep you up to date on where we are.
In case you were paying attention, I'm not related to Mathis, who you just appointed to the GSBL board. No relation whatsoever. Bill Mathis and somebody to his husband. So excited for tonight's meeting, and pleased to have you join us and share some information about the Department of Health. Y'all are like the big scary guys who nobody likes to see. But it was really good to understand your approach and do things. Just want to take a few minutes and provide an update and some highlights of some things that have been going on since the meeting. The first is red staff activities. You may have seen that in our aging division, we are transitioning to a new software. Oddly enough, it's called Harmony, and it's been anything but harmonious. State staff has been working through all of the challenges of learning, okay, we used to put that here and now it's here. But we've got a great team of folks who are who have their eye on the end goal of having all the information that they need. We are working in finance to get prepared for the financial audit for the FY16 year that is June 30th, and actually have that field works slated to take place in early September, which is probably one of the earliest times we've had the audit team. As the chairman knows, your work is never done. We've been signing contracts all over the place as we get geared up in the new fiscal year. There's a lot of contracts that, get started on July 1. Either that or they are in that final stages of execution. Brent has been continuing a lead role in, negotiating 2 statewide initiatives, one with GEMA, the Georgia Emergency Management Agency, and the other with the Georgia Department of Transportation. You should hear more about that as we move into the latter part of this year. You've heard of the report from Karen on GSBL activities. There's a lot of changes going on at the federal level that are working its way down to the local CDC level. So GSBL's board has been busy at work, making sure that they are compliant with all of the new requirements. As you all know, either because you're already in it or you're about to get in it, public administration staff is out in the communities doing lots of stakeholder meetings on comprehensive plans, and that's something that we'll be engaged in probably for about the next 2 years. And we also are working with the workforce side of coming up with a new plan, workforce approach that's consistent with the new law that went in full effect on July 1. And then sort of turning internally, you met new team members that we have who joined us so far, and on Monday, we actually have a new workforce director who joins our staff, Carolyn Canna. If I could have paid to have her here 2 weeks ago and helping us get ready for this new transition, I would have, but she needed to move from Atlanta. We're excited to have her on board, and you'll see her at the September council meeting. We also have decided to reinstitute or refill a position that was existing previously, which is the Director of Public Administration, a department head for that local government services group. That process is underway and expect to have somebody in place by September 1. We'll share with you that. And then sort of lastly, if you're on the Budget and Audit Personnel Committee, hold on to your hat. It's going to be a busy fall. We are working on making sure that we've got our job descriptions and our pay plan consistent with the Fair Labor Standards Act and doing all of that. You'll have a budget amendment, you'll have the audit, which means your November meeting as a full council will be busy as well. And the last thing I want to do is to make a presentation, Matt, if you want to talk. So you'll recall when Chris Edwards comes and presents the audit, it's about this thick, and it's a comprehensive annual financial report. And it's got all sorts of information. It's got great demographics and data and analysis. And each year for about the past 23 years, we have submitted our financial statements to the Government Finance Officers Association for their review and acceptance, determining whether or not we meet the standards that they set as the best practice and excellence in financial reporting. I'm pleased to share with y'all that we have yet again gotten the Certificate of Excellence for our financial reports, which means not only are they complete and providing good information that you as a steward of the taxpayers' dollars can understand and read and it's available for you, but that it also makes good sound sense according to all of the financial officers across the country. So just want to take a chance to say thank you to Matt and Crystal, who run our who runs our finance operation and works very diligently on preparation of all.
Thanks, Matt. Great job. Thank you. Package with fire and pedestrian safety action plan and all the survey. Please be sure to take the short survey and share with others. Any questions? Next council meeting will be September 8th, 2016. Mark the calendar for the first regional commission annual meeting in October 13th. Any other announcements? Again, thank you, Mr. Commissioner. Pleasure having you. Was very informative. Again, no other comments for standing.